All right. Hello. It is Wednesday. If you're on the West Coast, it's noon. That means it's time for another Courier Live. I am joined today with a very special guest, picking up where we left off yesterday. So for the cliffhanger, we'll get to that in a minute, but I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Hey everyone, I'm Shai. I'm part of the developer relations team at Contentful. I'm really excited to be here to do part 2 of this project.
Yeah. So previously on our stream, we were working with a blog that was written using Python and Flask, and it pulled data using Contentful naturally. And we added the ability to subscribe to different tags on the posts. And we walked through how you would create those users in Courier and subscribe them to lists that went along with those posts. And today we're going to pick up from there, and go through the Courier stuff of how we're going to build the notification and send it whenever a new blog post is published using Contentful. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over so we can see the screen.
There we go.
Yeah. So here is the blog post. So for those of you who weren't here yesterday, this is all about Power Rangers, right?
Yeah, the Japanese version of it, Super Sentai. So close enough, right?
Yeah, close enough. A lot of things now make sense to me. Growing up watching Power Rangers, and I say growing up, I think I was a little older than I should have been growing up and watching that. But
I don't think you're ever too old for transforming superheroes. Like, you still watch Marvel movies, right?
It's true. Like, I grew up with Voltron and Syndication. So
oh man,
that was what I watched.
The new Voltron is really good. If you haven't had a chance to catch it.
Oh no, I have, and I've gone to like the panels at Comic-Con. It was.
I'm really tempted to run into the other room. I met an artist at Comic-Con last year, and they had a discount on Voltron art. So I'm just gonna go grab it. I'll be right back.
We're doing it live. Oh,
so hopefully we're not too off topic with this, but
no.
It's like a little art of Voltron, and then they drew me as a stick figure, freaking out about the Voltron.
I love it whenever you like, whenever you do it, like if you're in Artist Alley and you buy something from them, they'll be like, oh, I'll sign it. And then like they'll sign it, and then they'll like, I'm going to draw a little picture of you. And they like put time and effort into it. Like, you see them pencil it out and then pen over it. I'm like, I'm not paying you enough.
Yeah, definitely was not paying this person enough. I should probably get it framed as well. It's like it's folding because it's just been resting against some books.
But that's okay. So, it's the pandemic, and you should support your artists. So support your local artists. So anyway, so where we left off, do you want to pull up the code?
Yeah, I can do that.
So, because one thing that we were talking about after we ended was we should probably handle the everyone subscription a little differently.
Yeah.
So one thing that we want to make is do my eyes deceive me? Sentai.
It is Super Sentai. Yes, I am an obsessive Super Sentai nerd. So.
Yeah. So you're gonna get a lot of it today. So we talked about whenever we subscribe to everybody, we were just going to subscribe to Sentai or Henshin.blog instead of going all the way out to the tag name. And thinking about that, we want to change that to where if they do select everyone, we want to subscribe them to both lists. So we're going to make a quick change. Let's just grab that.
Figuring probably the easiest way to do this is just to do it twice.
I was like, or you could just copy the. Yeah, that will also work.
What were you thinking? Is there an easier way to do this?
We don't need list _ID. We could just put it right in as the parameter, but this also works.
That actually would reduce it a little bit, so I probably should do that, but it's good enough. So it's good enough for a midstream refactor.
And then we also have where we changed it to where you could unsub and then resub.
Yes, so this is our everyone, and save it.
Yeah, cool. All right, so we're handling that case. So that way, if we send something out to one of the tags, someone who has selected everyone will also get it. Just a little bit of cleanup. Mm-hmm. But now, which should we do first? Should we design the notification or set up the webhook?
Well, so I'm curious how the notification gets triggered. So one of the nice things that we can do in Contentful is we can actually customize what the payload that we're sending over when we call this webhook looks like.
Okay.
So we can actually include some of the content in the webhook, and so maybe we can start to kind of tie these two things together a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's good, because the great thing about Courier is we'll accept it if you don't have a notification ready for it, and then we can map it as after we create the notification. Yep. So it's really great to be able to do a send call against your Courier instance, and it won't send a notification, but you can go into the logs and actually see all the data that came over and make sure that part is working. So it's really great if you are if you kind of have like an engineer designer type relationship, where you can give the engineer like the API key, you can have them wire up the engineering side, the code side, and then they're done. And then the designer can take over. So they're on two different tracks. So let's go ahead and set up the webhook, and we'll use it to pull out the information we want. Yeah. So I'm gonna let you drive this part, because I have not actually done this inside Contentful.
Yeah, so let me go ahead and just add a route for webhooks here. So we can do a webhook. This is not how I would set a webhook up normally, but I mean, for one thing, I would have an authentication built into it. But for now, this is
does Contentful support like a signing key, or?
Yeah, so we have your traditional HTTP auth, and then we've got secret headers, so like key values, and we've got a bunch of different things that we can use to configure this if we want to go crazy. But just for now, I haven't actually done webhook stuff with Contentful or with Flask before, and so I'm gonna keep it nice and simple. So return, I guess we can return a 200 for now.
Hello, Angie. Nice to have you back. So we're doing a post and a 200. And I guess we're really assuming that everybody knows what a webhook is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe we could dive into it.
Yeah. So I've been using webhooks since probably 2015, whenever I decided them. I really love them. It's one of the first things I look for in a product is do you have webhook support? And I think if you ask our CEO, that was one of the questions I asked them when I was interviewing for Courier, and they're coming, so I'm excited about it. And then also we can use webhooks as a provider, so we can be the one shooting out the webhook. Kind of like what Contentful is going to do here. And I've used that to do things like trigger IoT devices. But a webhook is just where a company or a product sends a post to an endpoint of your choice. Usually as a post, can be a GET, I think is also, and it's kind of a near real-time way of reporting data out to other people. So when I worked for SparkPost, just about everything we did around the metrics of an email would trigger a webhook, and you could receive that and store it or do analytics on it, things like that. For Contentful, the webhooks, I know there's a webhook that whenever you publish, it will kick off like Netlify to rebuild or something like that.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of them built in as like templates that you can kind of just one click instantiate. So Netlify is a great example. A bunch of different templates as well. And you can also just customize them and do them from scratch. So the Netlify one will just set it up for you and it'll take care of it all. Here, I'm just going to do a custom one because we're doing it for a service that doesn't exist yet. So website. and then I'm going to just use my URL. You can actually go really in depth with like when you want the webhooks to trigger on Contentful. So instead of having it trigger for anything, I'm going to have it trigger just for an entry publish, or actually just an entry publish, and that's it. Okay. So this is if we add some new content and we hit the publish button, then it'll trigger the webhook. So we're not going to send a newsletter anytime we upload a new asset or we delete something. So this will fire basically as soon as we hit that publish button, and then we can filter it. We can do some filtering, like, you know, if the environment, so like the kind of branch that it's running on is our production one. So yep, we're going to do that. And if we had time, we could set up all the headers and the content length. But we can also go ahead and we can customize the payload a little bit. So we can maybe take a look and see what the default payload is and how we need to adjust it. So if we go pull it into the documentation and see what the default payload is. So by default we get it does not say. Okay, I have a project for later today then to go to go adjust this documentation. But yeah, that's really weird that it won't tell me what the default is. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Maybe we can save this and just see if it'll do a test. So I'm going to just go ahead and...
I'm all about console logging everything.
Yeah, so I think with Flask, it's... we're just going to output, I guess, the request, right? So we're going to get the request, and we can go ahead and just print that and see what we get. Because I think we're doing something similar up here with the post, except it's a form here. So let's just print the request and see what we get.
Yeah, I haven't used Flask, so I'm used to using like Express and Node, and I'm like, well, where's that even being passed in? So I think it has something to do with the decorator that you used, right? Like we get that as part of that at app.route decorator.
And actually, just for now, I'm going to go ahead and just set up ngrok, because I have ngrok set up in my thing, because that way we can see the console log inside of
the ngrok console.
VS Code.
Oh, VS Code. Okay.
Yeah, we could do it in the ngrok console too, but I figure since I've already got VS Code up here running, we might as well just use that. So let me go ahead and
why leave the window if you don't have to?
Exactly. So I was joking with you a little bit about this off stream, but I completely forgot how I deployed this project, and so it took me about 4 hours of poking through a couple different AWS accounts to finally find it, and then it took me a little bit to adjust it because the Lambda helper I was using to deploy it had changed a little bit, and oh man, it was a whole hurdle. But we could skip that, and we could maybe do that near the end if people want to be surprised. So okay.
Yeah. Actually, while you're typing, what is the URL for this website?
Yeah, so it's henshin.shy.dev. So I don't know if that's big. Let me pull it up into VS Code and maybe.
Okay, I'm gonna tweet it out.
That's not too.
I'm gonna make sure I spelled it right. henshin.shy.dev. Okay, so I'm gonna put this out, and
so this is the production one, but right now we're just on the ngrok one.
So yeah, if you want to take a look at his blog while we're doing this, this is the URL to go to it, and I've thrown that out in the chat as well.
Okay, so I hit publish, so it should have theoretically fired my webhook. So let's go ahead and take a look at the
moment of truth. Oh, nice little activity log.
Oh no, it hasn't happened. Oh. Why is that?
We're doing it live, folks. We're doing it live.
Hit save, and let's go take a look at VS Code and see. VS Code has not seen it. Activity log. Master. So yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Should be running. What did I mess up?
Is the endpoint correct?
Let's go take a look at this ngrok link. It is not working, so that's a good catch. Did I spell the word
Oh, yeah,
webhook? Webhook.
Well, so I don't know if it would have worked in the browser because you don't have the method get on it, but whenever you go to just ngrok,
Yeah.
it loaded the blog.
I don't have Postman installed on this machine, unfortunately. Yeah, so the site is definitely up.
Uh-huh.
And we're requesting a post. For now, I might just... I don't want to cheat and just enable it for all.
Is that what the checkbox to the left of entry is for?
Yeah, so I could enable it for all entries.
Oh, okay.
Let me just get rid of that filter, see if that does anything. And then we've got the default payload. And then we go unpublish and republish this thing. Hopefully it doesn't need like a brand new. That is strange. I am not sure what is going on there. Let me go ahead and just try it for all entries. And
Yeah, I guess that would have been a publish.
so unpublish. So technically that also should trigger it.
Yeah.
Now that I've changed it. Publish. Huh. I am really curious why this is not working. Let me try just making a new piece of content from scratch and see if that does anything. This is a test post. Where I got the content from, so it just needs a link here. So I have it set up for any link it'll do. Okay, we don't need that. And I hope I don't have the validation really strict in this, or I'll just point it to something actually that I've already uploaded. I'll cheat a little bit. So let's hit publish. Okay. And then if we go over to webhooks, aha, we got a 0% success. That's great.
Okay.
Cool. So let's dive into.
So, do we got anything in the visuals in VS Code?
Let's go take a look. We got a bunch of things. We got a bunch of errors.
Oh,
Exciting. Errors are good. We could do something with this. The view did not. The return type must be a string. Let's go to the top. Ugh. Oh, there's a lot of errors. It's really unhappy. Let me take a look at the request documentation for Python.
Yeah.
Post it. How to listen for webhooks with Python. Let's see what we got. Print request.json. That's probably it. And I probably should do a smarter version of the return.
Mm-hmm.
And let me actually go and, well, here we can see what showed up in our body as well. So this will be useful to us. So we're getting a ton of stuff here. So we're getting the metadata about the post. And we can see that this is the thing that I published earlier. So maybe it just takes a couple seconds to fire, and maybe I was just too impatient.
We're being impatient. Yeah.
That was the real issue. We're getting our summary, so we're getting our text, we're getting a link to our asset, but it's not being expanded. So something interesting with the way that Contentful handles our assets is that we have a separate, so we have 4 major Contentful APIs. We've got our delivery API, which delivers published and production content. We have a preview API, which will just show you everything regardless of the status of the content. So like for setting up a preview site, we have a management API, which is our writable API. So that's where you can, do things like edit the content models programmatically, and, add content, delete content, just basically make whatever kind of changes you need. And then our fourth API is our images API. And so any sort of media or assets get routed through that fourth API. And the reason we do that is because for things like images, we're able to do a bunch of cool transformations on them. So you can, resize them or crop them or do whatever. And so you actually, to get an image or an asset, you have to request it with a .url, which in a webhook context is like kind of overkill, and we don't really need it because we're not going to email, I think, an MP4 out. I think that would probably get people a little mad at us. But we can use that in the website actually, which is really nice. So we can make calls to that as well. But okay, let me go ahead and I should have saved this talk. Oh yeah, we've got a lot of webhooks now. I should have saved this talk for while we were waiting for the publish event to fire. I'm sorry, everyone. We're gonna have to fill a little bit of dead time now. So let me republish this, and we can hang out and see how long it takes. Hopefully, it doesn't take too long. And I can.
So I guess we can kind of talk through the type of information that we want to be able to grab from Contentful, so we can send it on to Courier. So with Courier, whenever you make a send call, whether it be a regular send call or a send call to a list, we can pass over a data object. And anything that we put inside that data object, we can use in the creation of the notification. So we have a templating language with emails. We also support handlebars syntax. So just kind of thinking about what we're going to want to pull out whenever we send an email notification. So obviously we're not going to want to send the whole post in a message. So we're going to need something like the title. Are you doing something like a metadata, like a small summary?
I'm not, but we've definitely got the title here. Okay. We have the air dates, and then we have the slug, which will, or hopefully we have the slug, which we'll need to. Yep. Yeah, okay. We'll need the slug.
We can build the link to the entry, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. Oh, this is actually you said something about the ngrok console, and I think that was a great idea because now I can actually see it coming in because it just refreshed for us, and it looks like it's taking just a couple seconds, like about 30 seconds to fire. We've got a bunch of nonsense from earlier, so let's dive.
But it looks like it's still returning a 500, so we're not. Oh yeah, response is not defined.
Maybe I needed to import response. Yep, I probably should have done that. That would be good. Restarting. Is there anything else to this that I should include? I don't think so. I think we're okay from this random file on the internet. All right, let me go ahead and publish and unpublish that content. So unpublish and publish.
Okay.
And then we can go hang out in the ngrok console again. Go ahead and there we go. We got our first 200.
Hey, that's good.
Exciting.
And I'm sure that's going to make Contentful happy as well, because whenever you're accepting payloads from a webhook, they usually get really upset if you don't respond with a 200. Yeah. So a lot of places they implement kind of a back off retry. So if you and some of these that we're seeing might just be retries because you didn't acknowledge the receipt from the first.
I actually think it might be. So since we approved it for all entries, we have a bunch of autosaves, and so anytime an autosave would fire, it would technically fire the webhook because it was being too aggressive in the settings. And so I have a feeling that all of these are actually just the times I was like typing things and the autosave was firing too fast.
That is aggressive. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Like Contentful's giving me a green, so it's pretty happy now, which is great. So yeah, we can customize that webhook, or I know we're already half an hour. I say we just keep going with the full payload and just kind of filter it out here.
Sure.
All right. You don't sound super hyped about that. We can configure it.
I'm also trying to like do some moderation.
Oh, sure. Oh, we have some spammers in the chat. Oh, that's a bummer.
We have spammer. I think that means we're popular. So. No, yeah. So let's go on.
Yeah. So what's the cleanest way? Oh, this is great. We can just do it right here. So we can do. Let's just print a couple things.
So yeah, let's prepare that dictionary that we'll use to pass the data.
Yeah. So it's going to be fields title. Let's see if I can get this in the first go. Title is going to equal. Data equals request.json.field. So I'm ignoring. So the Contentful thing will give me a bunch of metadata,
sure,
which I'm going to ignore. So like, what type is the content? What environment are we using? This is useful, like when it was made, what revision we're on. For today, we don't really need it. We can go ahead and skip it. Yes. So we'll just take the fields array. So then we're going to have data and title. And one of the nice things that we do is we support localization, and so if we had a different language on here, it would actually have like French underneath it and the translation. But we don't need that. We could skip it today. We don't need to set up French unless.
Yeah, I mean that is something cool to think about, because we could set the language for a subscriber in their profile, and then we could pull that out. To pull out the right language from the data. So I think that's an interesting.
You'll have to have me back for us to do that.
I think it's an interesting use case for being able to send out multi-language emails using our templating.
I'm just going to go ahead and print the summary just so we have a big block of data that we can print to just double check that this all worked okay.
Okay.
Refresh the server, and then
do we not have like some kind of thumbnail image? Or
not in this one, unfortunately, because the way I have this set up right now is it's only showing this MP4 or this WebM. So that's something we could definitely update and change, but I want to maybe I'll do that after the stream just for time. But we could definitely add a content model for like image as well.
Yeah, just another thing that you could pass over in the data, and that would be like a link to an asset in Contentful, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then Contentful would have it all cached, and we could actually do why don't we go ahead and do that? Actually, that might be fun. Let's go ahead and just make that change. I don't think it'll be too crazy. So so this is our content model. So this is kind of how the data is structured. So I'm going to add a media asset, and I'm going to call it email image. Be a single image. We can go ahead and set the validation. So going forward, it'll be required. We can actually adjust the file size if we really want to, but I'm going to skip it. And then we're only going to take images. Images only. Stern face. Then we can set image dimensions, but I'm going to go ahead and skip that for now.
Sure.
So hit save. And then we're going to go over to Die Ranger because that's the one I've been using. Let me just go ahead and grab an image off the internet somewhere. You might recognize the White Ranger here as being the White Ranger for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. What's fun is that they ran out of footage of the Green Ranger, and he was so popular that they took footage from a different season and they put it in the previous season, which is a fun little bit of trivia for any White Ranger fans. And the White Ranger was the original child Ranger. What they did with the blue Turbo Ranger, they did with the White Die Ranger first. So this was like a 13-year-old kid as well. So there we've gone ahead and published it. So we should actually get new hit, which we did.
Okay.
And email image is going to be an asset. So we can do a quick
make another call to get.
Yeah, but we can do that. We can do that right here. So
Okay.
that'll be pretty easy, actually. So we're actually already doing this with the success image. So it'll be client.asset. So we can do email image equals client.asset. And then we have the ID that we're getting back from the data. So that'll be data, email image. And you can actually do localization on the images as well, which can be kind of fun. So you could have like a different image in different languages. So email, English, and then this is technically an independent kind of piece of content. So it also comes with like a sys as well. So it'll come with a bunch of metadata, sys.
Yeah, I remember setting up. So I want to say we recently launched it, but it's been for a while. But we did our Courier blog, and it is being backed by Contentful. Yeah. And I did a lot of the coding up. So it's a Gatsby site, and we're pulling from Contentful. And I'm like, what are all of these things?
There's a lot. There's definitely a leveling journey in your Contentful process. Okay, so let me go ahead and unpublish this and then republish this, and we can take a look. Oh, it's so fast now that it's happy. So cool. And there we go. We've got our.
It was like I can't keep giving you stuff. It's broken.
This is the biggest problem I have is making sure we get folks through the full leveling journey of Contentful, because you start with content and then you end up building like all sorts of custom views for your content producers, and it's a whole thing. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, so now we're outputting our URL, so things are good. And I guess, do you know what the recommendation for email sizes are for images? We might as well just go ahead and resize it now.
I don't know.
Images.
I mean, smaller the better, because it's going to be loaded. I mean, we're just linking to it, right? So it's
yeah. I was figuring we would embed it in the email.
Let's link to it.
Okay, we can do that too. So
we don't have to worry about it.
All right, cool. So I will leave this alone. So I think this is enough data to get started on the Courier side of things.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and make the send call. So cool. We already have a Courier client created that we were using before. Yep. So let's go ahead and do Courier client, and we're going to do a list send.
Yeah.
So .list.send. And the first parameter that we can give it is going to be an event.
Yeah, actually, I'm just realizing we are missing one thing, and that is what is our type. Yep, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So let me go ahead and pull that really quickly while we are here. So
we can probably do some fun string formatting to turn that into our list ID as well, because we'll need that.
Cool. So list.send, and
so the first is going to be an event ID. And so what I like to do is make that all uppercase with underscores for spaces, and just make it something descriptive of the type of message that we're sending. So maybe like new post or whatever you like.
Something like that?
Sure, that works. And then the next thing we need is the list ID.
Yep.
So that's going to be based off the type. And so do you want to go steal
this thing?
Yeah.
I gotta remember the F.
Oh, it's like, I didn't know if you got it or not.
F, and then I think, let me just make the subtype. So green. And I think it's actually we'll need to lowercase this.
Okay. Yeah.
So what is that? Python lowercase? I think it's just .lower or something. .lower. I was on it. String type .lower. like that. Should work.
Okay.
Cool.
And then the next thing that we need is the data,
Yes.
I think. Yeah. And then all the rest of this stuff is what was I going to say? Is not required, and we're not going to worry about it.
All right. So should I just send it a dictionary with the objects?
A dictionary with all of that data that we pulled out.
Yeah. Oh, so we could have actually just sent the data object then too, but I guess we did the cleanup on our side, which is okay.
I mean, you can just like send the data object and do JSON path to get to it on our side, because we support JSON path for pulling variables out. But sometimes it's nice to clean it up on this side as well. So it's really up to you if you want to reduce what you send over, because the data could be pulling, a lot more stuff than you would care to send to Courier. So like if the summary was actually a summary, and then like there's a bigger blog post, like you don't want to send the whole blog post, you just need the summary. So I'd pull out the information you need.
Yeah. So, and then we also want the email image.
Yeah.
These all consistent. Email image, and this one is going to want the .url as a function. Cool. And then we can also actually build the full URL string here if we want to.
I mean, we can build it on the other side too.
Yeah, let's build it on the other side then.
Yeah.
All right. So
string concatenation is not hard.
Yeah, let's do it over there then.
Okay.
Should I go to the webhook? Does this look all right to you?
So this is all we need to be able to send to a specific list. This does return something. We can ignore it for right now, but it will basically return a dictionary with a message ID. And if you are doing something, you might want to store that message ID, because then you can use our messages API to look up status and things like that. But you don't have to. So we can just just run it. If you
I'm just going to print it then, just so we can see it.
You go ahead and print it, but we'll run this webhook, and then we can go into your Courier instance and actually see where it came over into Courier.
Right, so let's hit publish. Double check that. Oh, we got a server error. What have I done? That's okay. List has no object lower. Subtype dot lower.
I think it's a string.
Yeah, I think it's a. So it's type in. Oh, it's an array, because theoretically it could be two things, because I set it so it could be two things.
Pull off the first one.
Yeah, give me 1 sec.
So many braces.
when I was building this site, there are some crossovers between these two shows. They are rare and they're usually bad. They do happen from time to time, and I was thinking maybe I would build a website around the crossovers as well, and then it never happened because they're bad, and I didn't want to put in the effort of adding bad content. Another error. What have I done? List requires a list ID or pattern.
Oh no! Wait.
Okay. Okay.
So that second part should be. Oh, you know what? You might need to do list equal.
I just be explicit about what it is.
I think you need to be explicit, and then you might want to do data equal on that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because the named parameters, and we have two ways that you can send messages. You can send them to a list ID, or you can send them to a pattern. And maybe this is just something the way that I coded this up. And it just couldn't.
There we go, 200. That's okay.
All right. Okay, so let's go over to. Oh, we're going to message ID. That's good. So let's go over to Courier.
Here we go. And I guess we delete this block, or we'll delete it when we push the code up. But
yeah, it doesn't matter. We're not going to be using it. So if you go back over to the messages side, inside data, and you might need to hit. Update again. Yeah.
No logs. Should there be something here?
I believe there should be something there. Huh. because we're doing a list send, and we got a message ID.
We did.
So that's not popping up. That's interesting. Well, it should have, because you should have got, it should show up in there and show as unmapped.
Yeah.
We have not created a notification or mapped it to that event that we're using. So let's pretend that worked, and we'll go ahead and create a notification. So if you go to the designer, which is the little artist palette, let's create a new notification. And go ahead and give it a name. Look up there where it says Untitled Notification.
I see that.
You just click on that. Name.
Event.
Cool. So let's click on email. And because you have SendGrid set up, it's automatically going to select that. So you can just go over to the left under channels and click email.
Yep.
To the left underneath channels. Oh, sorry. Okay. So click on the little. I guess, can you uncheck that one?
Yeah.
There we go. All right, now click on email.
Yeah.
Email. Okay. And so here we can give it a subject.
Yeah. And can we use the title in here from the data?
Yeah. So if you do single mustache.
Mustache, like that?
Sorry, curly braces.
Curly braces. Okay.
Are you familiar with like mustache templates and handlebars?
Yes, yeah, the same kind of way that we've been doing the templates in Jinja, the double curlies.
I think people who are used to using like mustache and handlebars call those a single mustache and a double mustache.
Okay. I'll try and keep up.
Yeah, it's okay. And so this is coming in with the data, and to get information from the data object, you can just use the key. So just use title. We will know that you meant data.
Yeah.
Basically. So it's a little shortcut.
Yeah.
So you can put maybe has been published or.
Yeah. Learn about.
Yeah. There we go. And so now we can start adding blocks and designing this. Yeah. So maybe we could start with the image. So we can put in an image block.
Yeah. Image.
And then click on that. And then hit the little pin, the edit.
This one?
Yeah. We can go in for image path, and you can use a variable there as well. So you can do single curlies, and you don't need data. Just, what was it? Email image?
Yep. Email image. And let me go ahead and add the HTTPS : // I think it's that way. I always mess that up. We'll see if it doesn't.
Yeah, no, that should be fine. Yeah, that's right.
Cool.
And then, yeah, you can fill out other things. You can make it a link if you want. Let's not make it a link, because we'll use a button to do that. So go ahead and apply.
Yeah, and I see that since this is 424 pixels, I'm actually just going to go ahead and do that here. So it'll be good to go.
Sure. Cool. Yeah, you can make that whatever you want. Now let's do the text.
Yeah. So Contentful is going to give this to us in Markdown.
Okay. Well, then we can use a Markdown block.
Ooh.
So hit that little Markdown block. Yeah. And just delete that and do whatever summary. Yeah. Cool.
This looks like I crashed the server. So let me just go double check what I did. I have a feeling I know exactly what I did. All right, let me just pull up the docs here. It's W equals, there's supposed to be a space.
Well, it doesn't need to be a string, because take the PX off.
Yep. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Restart it. Cool.
All right. And so that should pull that in and format it correctly.
I like this block system. Like, hey, we just published a new post about title, and then Maybe do a link at the bottom or
So if you hit that button, that's an action block.
Yeah.
So, and then click on it. Oh, that's an interesting color. So you can give it a friendly text. So maybe read more or learn more or whatever you want.
Transformation.
And then in the
I think let me actually just click into it and I can steal from myself.
Okay, and then we'll want to make that a slug. Yeah. You might want to click on that. Is it just really like a bad color? If you click on that and hit the little dropper.
This guy?
Yeah, you can select a different color.
Oh, definitely red.
Cool. So this is the message, and just for fun to kind of see how easy it is to add another channel. If you go back to the Add Channel button.
Yeah.
And let's add, let's say Slack.
Right.
Even though you don't have it configured, don't worry about it. It's not going to be hit because this is a priority queue. So if you go into Slack, you're like, oh, I need to create this. Well, you've already created these blocks and they're over in your library. So you can just drag them over.
So, hey, we just published a thing, email image, and then
summary.
What's that?
And that's all you need to do to add Slack. So the rest is just making sure you have the profile set up and the integration installed.
And it'll just go down the list of like, hey, you have an email, so we're going to send you the email. If you don't have an email, we'll send the Slack. Or
that's the way that this is set up currently. So it's kind of a priority queue where it looks at the recipient's profile and says, do you have an email? We're going to send the email and stop.
Yeah.
There is also a way that you can say always send an email and the best of these other channels. So currently we're in the best of channels, but we could switch email to be always and then best of being the other ones. And so sometimes I do that where like if I wanted to send like an email and then also send out a webhook to my IoT device. When I was streaming with Joyce from Postman, we did kind of like a woof. So if you're familiar with that episode of The Office, we put everything in always. And so whenever you send a message to Courier, it hit everything. Just for fun. Don't recommend doing that.
It's pretty good.
But yeah, so we don't even have to worry about that. And it's not even connected. So let's go ahead and hit publish changes because we do have a draft publish schema up. So you now have a configured notification. We could use the preview, but we don't have a test event.
We don't have any data in here
really
yet.
The easy way to do that is to make a call and then you could import it in. So let's go. The next thing we need to do before we can actually see if this works is hit the little settings button down at the bottom.
Yep.
And go to events. And we're going to create an event. It's at the bottom. And so we need that event ID we used in the code.
Yeah. So that'll be this guy or this one?
No, sorry. When you made the send call.
Oh, the list ID?
The event. It's the first argument in the send call.
Oh, the contentful dot. Yeah.
No.
It's all the way at the bottom where did I put the webhooks? I'm losing my code.
I know. It's like it was right up.
I don't want you in terminal. Here we go. Webhook, this thing.
Yeah, Contentful new post.
Got it.
All right, and then select the notification we just created.
Event.
Hit save.
Save. Cool.
And so this is really great because if they want to switch to a new message, you can have this going, and then after they create the new message, for the new one to go live, you just switch it to the new notification, and it will pick up. It's also nice for things like we have a new Segment IO integration. And so Segment is constantly sending events into Courier. And if it's not mapped, it's just going to ignore it. But as soon as you map one of those events, it will start sending out notifications based on it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So should we fire off this webhook again? And
let's fire it off and see if it works. You are subscribed. Do we have subscribers?
I haven't deleted myself, but I can always double check. This is my local one. Nope. I will resubscribe to this.
Okay.
And actually, let me go ahead and just subscribe to just a common writer so we can check the filtering over at. There we go.
Great.
Cool. So let's head over to the website and we will unpublish. Yep.
Yeah. And so hopefully we'll see this in the logs.
So ngrok, I think that was right now already.
It's so fast now.
Now it is. Cool. So that went through. That gave us a 200. So we have a new message ID again, which is great. If we go over to Courier, and there we go. 17 seconds. Let me pull up my email.
So we've got
error.
Okay.
Oh no. Did I configure my SendGrid incorrectly? I was a little worried about this.
There's something wrong with your SendGrid API key.
Yeah, I was a little worried about this, and I wanted to talk about it on stream. So let me just go ahead and log into SendGrid in an off screen. So give me 1 second.
So another great thing about Courier is you can set up integrations with us for things like SendGrid, SparkPost, Twilio, all the different integrations, and we just need basically your API key or whatever is required to send on your behalf. And so for SendGrid, you need an API key that has the email send permission. Yep. And then you also need to make sure that the from address is correct.
Yeah, that was something I was unsure about because in the documentation, the picture only has it showing the read access, and so I was a little concerned that I might have.
Is that only then?
But oh gosh, is it demand? Okay, it's forcing me to. Oh, can I skip 2-factor? Can I set it up later? I have to set it up now. Okay, give me 1 second.
Because it's SendGrid's part of Twilio now, and Twilio is requiring all accounts have 2-factor auth.
Give me 1 sec to just.
Yeah.
Oof.
But while he's doing that, like we were able to see the event come over. Normally, whether it's mapped or not, you see that come up. I'm not sure why it didn't before. And we could see all the information that was passed over. And then we could see, the entire kind of event timeline of what's happening. And so you can see what it looks like when it was rendered and anything that came back from SendGrid as a response. And so we got a 201.
So I'm guessing I need to just change this so mail send is allowed and full access.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Yeah. And then I don't know why I have sender authentication on. I guess I don't need that, or drop it down to read.
Yeah, I don't think we use it. The only one that we need is the full access for the send.
Okay, cool. I will update that key. And then go back over to Contentful.
Actually, you can go back over to Courier.
Amazing.
And go find it in the logs.
Yeah, so this guy.
And then up in the corner there is send again. And close that because it creates a new one.
Great.
Oh,
there we go.
Hey, that looks better.
And
all right. So if we want to go through this little timeline, if you click on event received,
yeah,
this is really handy because it shows you everything that was sent over from the send call. So you can see where we did hinshin.blog. Super Sentai as the list. There's a recipient ID. There's the data that we passed over and the event. So one thing that's So one thing we can do from here is let's hit that save as test event button.
Yeah.
And we'll do that. We'll work with that later. But if you want to go back into that message.
Yeah, I actually have an email if we want to look at that, but we can do that. We can do that later.
Sorry, let's go through the. I love the logs. This is one of my favorite parts.
These are really nice logs. I do like them quite a bit.
So. Yeah. So you can see like the event map, and that's basically just going to say there's that ID that we're using, and this is the notification ID that it maps to. For the profile loaded, you can actually see the profile information that was pulled back. And so the person that was subscribed getting this email was yours, and the only thing in there is email. There could be other things in there, like given name, family name. There's a custom bag for other information you want, and all of that information can be used in the notification for like as variables. So that's nice. And then we can actually see what it looks like rendered. This is really nice if, it didn't come to us, but this is what it should look like whenever we see it in your email. And that's really great for like support teams. So it's like, I didn't get this email. It's like, well, you got it and it should look like this.
Yeah.
And then we
did the small bug here. I probably misspelt.
Did we?
Maybe I misspelt summary. It's possible. It's probable that I misspelt the word summary, but it looks like summary didn't come through.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, we can take a look at that. But then the last one is where it was sent, and that's giving you feedback from SendGrid. And there are other events in there. So once you open it, there will be an open event. If you click on the link, you'll get a click event. And then if you have it set up for email, there are actually delivery events. So we know whenever it's delivered. But with SendGrid, that's an extra charge in setting up your account. So let's now go back over to the notification that we were in.
The notification?
Yeah, notification designer.
Oh, yeah. The designer. Yep.
Yeah.
Give me.
And then that one. And so now we should be able to go to preview.
Yeah. And we have data.
Yeah, we have data. And so this is what it looks like. And so we can see that there's something wrong with summary. So it does not so if it can't find the variable, it just puts out the name of the variable. So let's, in the designer.
Yeah.
Is that spelled right?
I think it is. Maybe it doesn't like the markdown block.
Try putting double curlies around it. Maybe it needs double curlies. I can't remember if.
There we go. Now it's highlighted green. I think that might have been it. Nope, that was not it. I was so excited.
Okay. I don't think we have anybody on the stream from engineering. So we're going to have to look into that. But what we can do is go ahead and put a text block in there.
Yeah.
And you should just be able to put in a single curly summary. Let's see if that's being pulled in. And then we can go back to preview.
Oh, no.
It does not like that summary word. Okay, so hit view test events here.
Yeah, that was...
Sorry, no, go back over to preview.
Yep.
And then, so you see view test events underneath preview details, test event. There you go. What is going on with that?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I didn't misspell it. Although I'm not often confident about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. We'll have to figure out what's going on there.
Control F is telling me I spelled it right, but not sure.
Okay. Well, so that's a nice way to be able to preview as you're working now. If you didn't have that test event before, so we were basically able to copy it from a different one. It's also nice if you are working on something and there might have been a problem, you could copy the test event from that log entry and view it in here and make some tweaks. And then lastly, we have the send tab. If you want to see what it looks like whenever you send it, we've made some changes, so you have to hit publish notification again, but it's fine. But from here, you can just send a notification to a specific recipient.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. So if they want to test it out without engaging with engineering, you can do that. And then we also generate the client library. So so you're on the Python, and that's actually all the code you need for the send. And this send is using a one-to-one send instead of a send to a list.
Which is great. Yeah, if I want to do the single test, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Should we publish the change? And I guess maybe...
you don't have to publish it because all we did was add that second text block, which isn't working anyway. If you want to just X that, and then you can hit publish.
I can always...
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of nice. Now you have a reason to visit the website. I don't want to give you all the info here.
So actually, let's look at it in your email.
Yeah, let me go ahead and resend it just so we get the updated version. One thing that I did deal with that I think might just be a me problem is that, where was that resend? Does that only work when it fails?
It's in the summary. So
Summary.
above the timeline. There you go.
Yeah, it did end up in my spam, but that might be because I'm emailing myself. Like the email is. So actually, maybe
that has a lot to do with the email reputation of your sending domain. So if you went through the process of setting up your sending domain inside SendGrid instead of using like their kind of sandbox that allows you to send from anyone, you'll end up getting better send reputation and appear like in the inbox as opposed to the spam or the promotions tab. So that's completely to do with your reputation.
Let me go ahead and pull off my spam off screen because that is definitely NSFW.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
There's no good spam. Cool. And then pull up my is on red so you don't see all my email. All right. So we've got our second email. So
all right.
And let me display images. Is there a display image button? I could just do. Where is the display image button?
I don't think I have mine turned off.
Yeah. Well, at least it's giving us the alt text.
Yeah.
That's something. And then the button works, and yeah, there we go. It redirects straight to the page.
Nice. And now, actually, if you go back to the log in Courier, you can actually see where you opened and clicked that.
Yeah.
So go back over to your Courier instance, and you're gonna probably have to close that. Hit the little last update 1 minute, or I guess that will do it too.
Yeah.
And so you can see that the icons for these changed as well. So it's kind of a 3/4 filled in circle, and so that means that it was opened. And then if you go into it, you can see where you opened it, and that must not be the one that you clicked on unless you don't have click tracking turned on.
I have a very aggressive ad blocker on, which is probably in the way.
Yeah, that's probably it. So, no, we opened the click tracking is.
Yeah, it should have gone through, but
if you want to close this window and then go to because I did this with mine during a demo. So go down to the settings, the gear at the bottom. And what is it? It's now under... where did we move that to? So we just changed the screen. Just click on any of them, all of them. Okay, now
that was
okay. So that's that redirected you to categories. Delivery. Where did click tracking go? Maybe that's in. So if you go back to the designer, this is fun. And then hit the little gear next to the name of the notification.
This guy.
And so we got brands. Cool. I don't know where click tracking went. So I'll figure that out. Something new that we just added was notes. So if a lot of people are working on this, you can have a little notepad to put information back and forth. So that's pretty cool. That's a new feature.
Something like that.
Yep. All right. So, well, if you have click tracking turned on, and I got to find out where that went, then it would actually have another event because you clicked on the information. So.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and publish this then. And I'll get rid of the print statement because we don't need that.
Angie's asking, which ad blocker do you use?
I use uBlock Origin, and then I also use HTTPS everywhere. So uBlock Origin, Facebook Container as well. But something to note is that uBlock will break a lot of things, including Contentful. So I know that Angie works for us and might run into that issue. So let me get ahead of that one right away. Let me go ahead and publish this then, and that way it'll be up and live, and people can mess with it.
Yeah, feel free to subscribe and start getting emails whenever he publishes more Super Sentai or whatever you subscribe to.
Yeah, hopefully you won't get annoyed because I use this site for demos every once in a while. So git commit.
You're really gonna have to add the ability to unsubscribe.
Well, yeah, we were talking about that. Actually, we could do that really quickly with the user ID. Can we get the user ID in Courier?
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
If you do, I think it's $recipient underscore ID is the path for it.
Make this a link, or yes, I can. So the URL was user, and then that is a great catch because we did spend some time setting that up yesterday. So we should definitely use it.
Yeah.
So it was $.
Dot recipient underscore ID.
Underscore ID. I hope I spelled that right.
Recipient. Okay, yeah, then you can just hit apply and then we can go look at it in the preview.
Oop. Did I need to publish that?
Oh, that's weird. Maybe did you not hit apply, I guess?
Maybe I just clicked out of it and was excited.
Recipient.
Typed this a million times yesterday.
Yeah, but I don't think you spelled it right yesterday.
Did I not? It's an easy way to check this.
Because I think you left out an I before. Yeah, recipient. Okay, I think. Okay, and then don't hit anything. Click off of that block.
Like here.
Yeah, there you go. So I think you didn't click off the block, and so it didn't accept the change. So you can hit publish changes now, and if you preview it,
it's a link.
So go into edit test events or view test events. Sorry, and add a recipient ID key in there.
Yeah, just the.
So yeah, just do recipient ID. Is there an underscore?
There is not. That is a good catch.
And then just put something in there. Doesn't matter what it is. And then actually put a comma or it won't save before recipient ID. Valid JSON.
Good catch.
Well, you're still seeing invalid JSON. Take the comma out after it, the trailing comma.
Only data and profile. Does it need to be in profile or?
No.
I mean, this one's a little different because this isn't coming from.
We need to fix. Don't worry about it. We can just hit X. But let's make sure that it does have the underscore in the link.
Yeah.
Recipient ID.
Yep, it does.
Okay.
It does.
So let's send it again.
Cool. Let's do it. And
I need to log a ticket for that, actually.
No worries. Let me go ahead and just push this as well so we can go to the real thing.
Yeah. Oh, the real thing. Yeah.
No one wants to go to my ngrok server. And I guess, well, this is gonna trigger on the ngrok server. So let me go ahead and actually just.
Oh yeah. We're moving it to real. We're going to production, folks.
Try.dev/webhook, which is gonna fail because it's not allowed. Webhook setting. Update the link. All right, let me go ahead and publish this. And this is going to be a different category, so it should send to some different emails as well.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Could not be published. Oh, that's because we added the image.
Oh, yeah.
Good catch. This is my favorite one. He is fruit themed. If anyone is into fruit, what's a good image?
We watched that video yesterday, right?
We probably did. Any excuse to show it. Yeah, he becomes the strawberry ninja.
Yeah. Is that where ninja came from?
I hope so. I really hope so. This is a good image. I like this one. So we could steal this one. Oh, and it's from the Wikipedia. All right, this one's a little higher res, so we'll copy that.
Okay.
And then hit publish. Cool. And then that should trigger a webhook. Which it did. So we've got that.
Okay.
So if we go to Courier.
And we go back to our
messages. There we go. New post 14 seconds ago. And it went to a bunch of different emails, so which is great.
Oh yeah. So we had 3 people on that list.
And this one just actually showed up straight into my work email as well. So let me pull up my work email and get in trouble with my IT department for doing that on stream. So display images. And the image is still not working. That's a bummer. But
hover over the modify your subscription. I want to make sure that actually pulled in the right.
Yeah. Oh no. Did not work, unfortunately.
I just used this, but I used it in handlebars. Because in handlebars, you have to use a helper to do the path, but that should be, I've not done it in one of our blocks.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so I'll have to look that up. But there is a way that you can pull the recipient ID back out and use it as a variable. So we'll make that as a note to fix afterwards. Yeah.
No, this is great. I love how fast this was. We got the whole thing set up in 2 hours, and a lot of fun. So.
I mean, it probably would have been faster if we weren't talking, but where's the fun in that?
Yeah, it definitely would have been maybe slower. You know, we've got the whole rubber ducky debugging thing going.
Yeah, exactly. Well, cool. We did it. So this is only going to be a 2-parter. We're not going to have to do the 3-part cliffhanger that I think was famous in Stargate.
Coming back and doing something with localization if you're up for it. We can.
Oh yeah, no. Let's totally show people how to do localized messages. I think that's a great idea. So we'll look into that. But until then, I think we did it. I'd like to thank everybody for watching us. And this will be up as a blog post next week, so you can get links to our videos and all of the code. And we're going to post that on the Courier blog, which is backed by Contentful.
It's good. It's good.
So, anything else? Do you have another stream coming up? Anything you'd like?
Yeah, we're going to be doing a stream tomorrow over on the Contentful channels. We're going to be Next.js just released some new stuff around images, and so we're going to be hacking together some sort of plugin or integration. Stefan from our DevRel team will be doing that, which should be a lot of fun, along with one of our community members, James. And otherwise, we stream every Tuesday at 11 New York time, which I think is 8 9 Pacific as well. And so we'd love to see you all there if you're interested, and just if you're curious about learning more at contentful.com/developers is the place to go. But this was a lot of fun, and thanks
where
for
can I find you on the internet?
I am around on the internet. I'm mostly on Twitter these days, and you've all seen my various emails, so you can follow me at Shai Ruparel on Twitter.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming, and we did it. And thank you all again. So we'll say bye.
See y'all later.